Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, it's 2023. 2023 is not an election year. We've been focusing a lot on the 2024 Republican primary and the 2024 presidential general election. But still, nevertheless, we do have some important elections taking place this year. We have governorship elections up in Louisiana, which is probably going to be a Republican flip, Mississippi, which is slated to be a Republican hold, and Kentucky, which technically could be a winnable race, but it seems as if the incumbent Democrat will unfortunately, as of now, hold on. Still, there's another key state that we're not talking enough about, and that's the state of Virginia. Virginia does their governor's elections on off years, but they did it 2 years ago in 2021. There's another election coming up in 2025, but still, they do their state legislative elections every 2 years, and for the state Senate, it's every 4. And the state House is actually Republican. The state Senate is very narrowly Democrat, and there's a chance Republicans go out there and potentially get a trifecta this fall. Youngkin won the governorship there over Terry McAuliffe by a couple of points back in 2021, despite it being a state that Joe Biden won by 10 points and a state many people thought was leaning off a cliff to the left. Republicans also down ballot won the lieutenant governorship, and they also won the attorney general slot, giving them control of the state house and all of the statewide offices, except for the state Senate, of course. That was the one thing they couldn't control. But still, that's up for grabs. You see Democrat candidates with sex scandals all over the place, insanity, what's going on there. But more importantly, we have to talk about the fact that Republicans have a competent party. They are going on the offense in Virginia, and they are winning. And that's a good thing. And you take a look at what's going on with their early vote operation, because we've talked about this. We've talked about Republicans losing because they're not using the election system to their advantage. They're not flipping the script on the Democrats. They're lying down, taking it, and complaining. And it's easy to be a victim, but that doesn't mean that we can't not be a victim and still use the situation that we're placed into our advantage to go out there and win, to say, hey, if you want this mail-in voting, you want these drop boxes, you want these ballot harvesting, well, if you get your way on that, well, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do it better, and we're going to have to work harder for it, mainly because it's technically a little bit harder to harvest ballots with Republicans because Republican areas tend to be a little bit more spread out, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done, because it can be done, and we know that. And Virginia's not a Republican state, but you look at the early vote, which typically leans Democrat, and Republicans on day 1 in Virginia led. Day 2 in Virginia, they expanded their lead, and day 3 in Virginia, they expanded their lead even more. And you could say, well, the percentages aren't really increasing by all that much, but it doesn't matter. They're not only remaining competitive with the early vote, they're leading so far, which is a good sign. And yes, this can change, but it shows that those who are enthusiastic early on, they're going out. They are voting. They are banking their votes. They're not going to have to be found at the 11th hour. And it's going to make it easier for Republicans at large to go out there and win and to take as many state Senate districts as they possibly can, to hold the state house, to do what they can do to ensure that Youngkin is going to be able to fulfill his full potential as governor with a Republican trifecta, with control of the entire statewide slate, all in a state that Joe Biden won by over 10 points. It shows Virginia, to some degree, is turning a corner, which is a very good thing, and it's a thing that a lot of people, including myself, 2-3 years ago, would have never have thought to envision that taking place, which is very good. You look at some of these polls we're seeing, Republicans in the generic ballot, they're tied. We see some polls where they're leading, and Youngkin's approval in this poll is only +3. In a lot of other polls, we see Youngkin's approval rating significantly higher. And it shows that school policies are highly regarded, more so in terms of being that major vote factor compared to an issue like abortion, which is definitely going to be somewhat of a hot button issue among Democrats that are voting, but still Republicans in Virginia tend to have solid messaging overall across the board on these issues, to the point where they can use all of this to their advantage to go out there and to win. And that's what it's about. You can't exactly enact policy if you can't win. You can't exactly win if you're not competent. And what we do know is that Republicans in Virginia went from being one of the most incompetent parties, 4 years ago or so, to being one of the most competent Republican parties in the nation. And the Democrats in Virginia went from being one of the most competent Democrat parties in the nation to, after 2021, they're kind of in shambles right now. There's no guarantee they hold some of these competitive House districts. Even the Senate race in Virginia is going to be close. Wish that Republicans would focus more energy on that than energy that they want to spend on a lost cause in Pennsylvania, because the Rhino Golden Boy, Dave McCormick, happens to be running and probably is going to get that nomination. But still, either way, what it tells us is when you're competent, when you go out there, you can win these states. You can. They're winning in Virginia so far. Lot can change, of course. It's no guarantee. But as it stands right now, I think that Republicans have a very good shot in the state to potentially go out there and get that trifecta, which I don't think a lot of people even like a year ago thought was going to happen. And if they do that but lose a state like Kentucky, it really begs the question, why? And the real answer really just boils down to the competence level and what they're actually running on and what issues they're bringing to the forefront, but also the mechanics of it all. How are they banking votes? If you don't have this operation in one state that's even like 30 points, 40 points even redder than another state, but you're still managing to win a key office or a key wing of that government there, it just shows that that's what it comes down to. And in the state of Virginia, it absolutely does come down to competence. And it kind of lays the blueprint down for what can be done nationwide, because if you're able to do this in one state, and maybe it does impact 2024, and maybe Virginia gets closer, and you see Republicans overall doing better with this early vote system, using the election system to their advantage with turnout, they do that there. Why can't they do it in Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania or a lot of these states? Because if they do it there, then they're not going to lose, because you look at those demographics in the key swing states that don't turn out in the highest numbers. But if we make that happen, it will only bode positively for Republicans. So all around, I like what I see in Virginia. It's still early, of course, but what we're seeing is the bottom line being the same, that if Republicans use the election system to their advantage, they're going to have a big win, especially because of the fact that Election Day voters will still remain largely Republican. So if they get a lead with the early vote, they're going to have an even bigger win when it's all said and done. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.